All right, and we are live. Good evening po sa inyo lahat mga kaguro. And of course, we most especially welcome back the members of Team Piaget. Again, our Team Piaget is our exclusive group now. And of course, if you are a member of Team Piaget, you can answer our quizzes, you can enjoy the full-length video, you can download my PowerPoint presentation. Of course, you have your free pre-board and free final coaching. Team Piaget membership is good until September of this year. So again, we still have our ongoing promo now. So if you can become a member of Team Piaget, I am inviting all of you. It's very advantageous in your part to become a member of Team Piaget, of course, because you can watch our full-length video and download my PowerPoint presentation. Of course, our membership is until September. So even if you'll be taking the LEP in June or in September, pwede po yung inyong membership. There's no membership, there's no monthly payment, and there's no hidden fees. Okay, so please do become a member of Team Piaget. Just send a message to our Facebook page. If you are watching us on our Facebook page right now, it's the same Facebook page where you are going to be sending your message. Or if you are watching us on our YouTube channel, there's a link in the description of our video. So please send a message to our Facebook page and become a member of Team Piaget. And of course, we would like to congratulate again all our new LPTs, so yung mga kakapasa pa lamang natin na members ng Team Gardner, Team Erickson at ilan sa kanila ay members din ng Team Piaget. And we have 3 top-notchers. The first one is Sir Thomas Jefferson Fernando of Pangasinan State University. Of course, he's top 3 in the elementary level. We have Ma'am Maria Jesusa Diaz of Polytechnic University of the Philippines, main campus, top 6 in the secondary level. And Sir Mark Chofel Mission of Dalubasaan ng lungsod ng San Pablo, top 7 in the secondary level. Okay, so both Ma'am Maria Jesusa and Sir Mark are in the secondary level. So again, congratulations po, hindi lamang sa ating top-notchers, but also, of course, to all of our LPTs, sa mga bago-bago nating LPTs, yung mga fresh grad, yung mga graduate last year or last 2 years, dahil nga medyo nabinbin yung ating LEP. And of course, ganun din sa mga members ng ating Team Thunders, no? Yung kinagagalak talaga natin ay marami sa ating Team Thunders na sa 50s, nasa 40s na yung mga unit earners na naging LPTs dahil sa tiyaga nila, and of course, dahil sa pagtutok nila dito sa review ng Gurong Pinoy. Now, tonight's discussion is centered on professional education. We will be talking about 20 items. We are going to rationalize these 20 items. Of course, we will find out which among the items or which among the choices are going to be the right choice. And ira-rationalize natin lahat ng questions natin. But then again, if you are watching us on our Facebook page or maybe on our YouTube channel, your video is just a snippet. Okay? So napuputol po yung inyong video. So for you to enjoy the full-length video, again, magpa-member po kayo sa Team Piaget. Okay? Just send us a message. Our Facebook page is Gurong Pinoy. There's a link in our description in the video if you are watching us on our YouTube channel. Okay, but before we start with anything else, of course, let's all have our opening prayer. We thank you for this new day, Lord. Help us to embrace all that it may hold for us, to hear the bird song and have new melodies in our hearts, to see the sunrise and create beauty with our hands, to touch the leaves that grow afresh, and allow your love to touch our hearts, to smell the fragrance of the flowers and breathe in the wonder of your creation, to dwell on the beauty of our world and study and fathom your miracles, to enjoy the conversations we have and the lessons we go to. May we drink in all the goodness you have for us. Amen. All right, so once again, as I've mentioned, we will be talking about professional education 20 items. And we are going to rationalize each item, no? Papatpatin natin, hihimay natin kung bakit letter A yung sagot at hindi letter B, C, or D. But before that, please go ahead and like this video, heart this video, and of course, napaka-importante that you share our video so that we can reach out to more people. Again, the heart button and the like button are just very near your comment box. Paki-like na po and paki-heart na po ng ating video, and of course, paki-share na po ng ating video. Okay, so let me just read a few comments while you are still liking this video. No, parang na-miss ko tuloy maki-review. Sabi ni Ma'am Marites, Mix Vlog, watching po kahit nakapasa na. Love you, Gurong Pinoy. Maraming salamat and of course, congratulations. Sa lahat ng ating mga passers, meron akong mga nakitang comments kanina, no, hindi ko pa nababasa. So again, congratulations po sa lahat ng ating mga passers. Si Sir Al Rashid, Daod, LPT na. Yes, sa wakas LPT na po ako. Okay, congratulations. Isa din sa ating mga members. Okay, so again, congratulations po sa lahat ng ating mga members na nakapasa, no, sa Team Piaget, Team Erickson, Team Gardner, and of course, sa mga papasa pa, congratulations in advance. Okay, so again, magpa-member na po kayo sa Gurong Pinoy. Hindi po kayo magsisisi. Ayan, si Ma'am Eunice Garcia Carbajal, LPT. Good evening, Ma'am. Yay, guys. Sobrang sulit ng lahat. Thank you, Ma'am Mek, for everything. Sa tulong po ng mga sessions natin every weekend, sulit. Now, legit, LPT na. Ayan, LPT na din. Okay. Si Ma'am Van Cornelio, hello Teacher Mek, salamat po na marami. LPT na po ako. Galing niyo po, feel ko, naririnig ko po boses niyo while shading. Sana mas marami pa po kayo matulungan, mabuhay po kayo. Maraming salamat and of course, congratulations. Meron pa ako nakita kanina na member ng ating Team Thunders. Si Ma'am Ederlina Supnet Ortega. Good evening po, Ma'am Mek. Thank you very much, Ma'am. LPT na ako. Namimiss ko itong live mo. Maraming salamat po. And of course, congratulations din po sa inyo. So again po, pwede po kayong mag-enroll na, magpa-member na po kayo kahit sa June pa po kayo magti-take or sa September pa po kayo magti-take, no? Pwede na po kayong magpa-member. Ang atin pong membership is until September na po. Okay, so magpa-member na po kayo habang meron pa po tayong slots and of course habang meron pa po tayong promo. Si Ma'am Jasmine Bulawit, good evening Coach Mek. Thank you po sa lahat. LPT na po ako. Okay, so again, ang dami nating nakapasa, no? Especially sa lahat ng mga Team Thunders na nakapasa na. Okay, ayan. Si Ma'am Asnia Macmod. Thank you po. Kasama ko pumasa ng LEP. Dito siya nag-review. Okay, so yung kasama daw niya ay dito nag-review. Alright, so once again, please do like this video, heart this video. And of course, paki-share po ng ating video para mas marami pa po tayong matulungan, mas marami pa po tayong ma-reach. Ito, member ng Team Thunder. Good evening po, Ma'am Mek. Thanks po sa online review ninyo. Pasado na po ako sa LEP. Team Gardner to Team Piaget. Salamat po ng marami, Ma'am Mek. Ayan, si Sir Adolfo Pimentel Mari, no, medyo marami ng karanasan sa buhay, but of course, dahil sa kanyang tiyaga, marami sila, no, na members ng Team Thunders. Okay, nakapasa na sila. And Sir Al Rashid, maraming salamat sa Gurong Pinoy. Easy to get. Sobrang galing ni Coach Mek. Salamat talaga, Coach Mek, sa mga mag-take this March. Good luck. Keep reviewing at congratulations in advance. Okay, so kayo naman yung magiging next na pastor, of course. All right, so we all need to be dedicated. And of course, we all need to study hard. No? So we all need to sacrifice and do a lot of hard work so that we can reach our dreams of becoming licensed professional teachers. And of course, tutok lang po kayo dito. And napaka-importante din na nagla-like kayo ng ating video, at nag-heart kayo ng ating video. And of course, nag-share kayo ng ating video para mas marami pa po tayong matulungan. All right, so we start with question number 1. There's still 400 people who have not liked this video. Again, palagi ko pong sinasabi yung mga nagla-like at mga nagla-love at nag-share ng ating video yung mga nabibiyayaan. So again, paki-like, share, and love, share our video. And of course, you can also support us by sending us your stars on Facebook or also sending us your super chat, super stickers on YouTube. Mag-like na po at mag-heart. We will start with question number 1. Okay, Vygotsky theory emphasizes the importance of a more advanced other person who serves as a guide to provide blank for the learner? Is it letter A, equilibrium, letter B, scaffolding, letter C, motivation, or letter D, development? Okay, what's your answer? Si Ma'am Edna Ballesteros. Thank you so much, Ma'am Mek. 250 lang po ang registration ko. Salamat po. Pasado na po ako, di ba? Hindi nyo kailangang mag-spend ng 10,000, 7,000, 5,000. Gurong Pinoy is one of the cheapest, no, if not the cheapest of all the review programs. Of course, yun, sabi ni Ma'am Edna, no, member yata siya ng Team Gardner or Team Erickson, yung mga nauna nating teams. And of course, 250 lang yung naging membership fee ni Ma'am Edna, pero pasado siya sa LET. Okay, so you don't need to spend a lot of money para makamtan po ang inyong pangarap. Kailangan lamang tumutok dito. Kailangan ay tama yung inyong reference, no? Huwag na kayong pumunta sa kung saan-saan dahil minsan mas marami kayong sources, mas nakakalito, no? Mas nalilito kayo. Okay, so do not feel confused. Just stay with Gurong Pinoy. And of course, if you can become a member of Team Piaget, ay magpa-member po kayo. Okay, now I see a lot of letter B's for number 1. Okay, so letter B kaya ang ating tumpak na choice. Again, please do like this video. Still 300 people have not liked this video. Again, if you want to become a member of Team Piaget, as I have mentioned, mag-send lamang po na message later sa ating Facebook page. Okay, so number 1, Vygotski's theory emphasizes the importance of a more advanced person or other person who serves as a guide to provide blank for the learner. Is this letter A, equilibrium, letter B, scaffolding, letter C, motivation, or letter D, development? And the tumpak na choice here, of course, is letter B, scaffolding. Okay, puntahan po natin yung ating slide. So you all know that Vygotsky was the one who gave us this idea of scaffolding strategies. No? Sabi dito, whenever you say scaffolding, this is any strategy, any help that you have given your student. Okay, so there are several types of scaffolding strategies. Pwede kang gumamit ng graphic organizers para mas makita ng student mo yung relationship between those different terms, para mas madali yung pag-summarize. You can use visuals and realia. When you say realia, these are real-life objects like coins, the jars, some uniforms, for example, galing sa World War II, no? So, yan po yung mga examples ng ating realia. You can also use first language. For example, if you are teaching someone who's Korean and you are trying to teach that person grammar, for example, when I was teaching Korean students English, I would use myongsa, for example, for noun, dongsa for verb. No? So you can use their first language. Or maaari, if you are teaching your kids, if you are teaching yung mga anak nyo very young, you can also use your own dialect, no, para mas madali sa kanilang maintindihan. You can use read aloud, so make them read a passage aloud. You can use modeling or gestures. You can use small group discussions, partner work, sentence structures or sentence starters. Or, of course, also very important, you connect whatever new lesson that you have to their background knowledge. Okay, so any help that you have extended to a student, that would be equal to your scaffolds. Okay, so those are your scaffolds. Any strategy that you have given so that your student may be helped, we call that your scaffolds. Now, what about the rest of the choices that we have? Yung letter A mo was equilibrium. Okay, so equilibrium, actually, it came from the study of Piaget. Okay, so here you have 4 different keywords, no? Cognition, you have schema, you have assimilation and accommodation. When you say cognition, this is the mental or the cognitive ability. And we usually develop your cognitive ability through the different experiences that you have, different lessons that you've learned. Okay, so cognition is the term used for that. And through your cognition, you are able to form your schema. Now, when you say schema, according to Piaget, these are like the filing cabinets that we have in our brain. No? So meron kang idea about something, meron kang idea about a certain concept, that's what you call your schema, yung filing cabinet mo, naka-file silang lahat. No? So here, in your example, for example, here, the boy has learned the schema of a cat. So recognize na niya kung ano yung cat. Basta may tail at basta four-legged, that's a cat for the boy. No? So that's his schema. schema of what a cat is. Now, when you say assimilation and accommodation, these are two different concepts. When you say assimilation, the boy still has the same schema. Ganun pa rin yung schema niya, no? Your hint here would be the two S's, same schema, the same schema. Okay, so when the boy saw a cub, which of course is a baby lion, the boy still called a cub a cat. Okay, so hindi pa na-change yung schema niya. And so we say assimilation is the same schema. Okay, but the Caesar said, no, it's not a cat, it's a cub. Now, once the boy has already accommodated the new schema of a cub, alam na niya na magkaiba yung cat and cub, and he starts to call the cub a cub, then we call that accommodation. Accommodation here, your hint is the C's or are the C's change in schema. Okay, so there already has been a change in the schema of the boy. Okay, so schema, that's your filing cabinet. Assimilation is when you still have the same schema, and accommodation is when you have already changed your schema. You've already learned another concept, no, another thing. Now, yung equilibrium mo, which was our choice A, is actually a balance between assimilation and accommodation. Okay, so balance siya between assimilation and accommodation, still under the idea or still under the theory of Piaget. Okay, so that's equilibrium. Now, we also have letter C mo was motivation. Motivation, of course, this is our drive, no? What makes you wake up in the morning. Sabi nga ng advertisement nyo ng kape, para kanino ka gumigising, no? That's your motivation. And in psychology or in education, we actually categorize your motivation into two types. You have intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. So when you say intrinsic, it is within you. Okay, so internal motivation. Ikaw mismo sa sarili mo ay motivated ka to perform an activity. For example, you have personal rewards, you have personal satisfaction from doing it, you feel happy, you enjoy doing it, you want to learn, you want to improve yourself. So these are your intrinsic motivations or intrinsic motivators, your internal motivation. But when you say extrinsic motivation, you are motivated to perform an activity to earn a reward or avoid punishment. So external, no? External yung inyong motivation. Maaring ayaw mo lang mapalo or gusto mo lamang magka-medal, or sometimes maybe your parents would give you some reward in the form of money or maybe form of another thing. And so you keep doing something. No? So that's extrinsic, external motivation. Hindi mo talaga gusto, pero gusto mong magka-reward or gusto mong ma-avoid yung punishment. Okay? So these are your motivations or motivators. Sometimes we call these motivators. Now, choice D natin is development. When you say development, this is a total change, no? Holistic change or holistic growth of an organism, of a person. Kasi when you say just growth, it's more of physical lamang yung growth. But when you say development, it's total, no? So holistic siya. It's not only physical, there's emotional changes, there's mental improvement, no? There's psychological, there's spiritual, lahat na ng improvement nandyan. No? So that's the term development. But then again, for number one, we were looking for letter B, and that's scaffolding. Any help that you have extended to your student is a form of a scaffold. Okay, so klaro na tayo for number one. We move on with number two. Your young daughter had never feared spiders, but after seeing you screech and react in fear a few times when a spider appeared in the house, she now cries whenever she sees a spider. This is an example of blank. Is it letter A, spontaneous recovery? Letter B, classical conditioning? Letter C, stimulus generalization? Or letter D, operant conditioning? Okay, what's your answer for question number two? Again, please do like this video and share this video. We still have 200 people not liking and hearting this video, loving this video. And of course, napaka-importante that you share, paki-share po ng ating video. Okay, so again, please like, love, and share this video. Okay, what's your choice for question number two? Number two na po tayo, mga kaguro. Ano po yung inyong question? Okay, si Ma'am Myra. Ma'am Myra Faliaria Fadrikilan. Good evening po, Ma'am Mex. Thank you so much sa inyong laking tulong po ang mga videos nyo, lalo na sa akin na may work at sa gabi lang po nakakapanood. LPT for first take. Congratulations. God bless po, Ma'am Mex. At sa Gurong Pinoy. Congratulations po, Ma'am Myra. Okay, I see B's and C's in our comment box. Okay, alin kaya yung tumpak, no? So, sabi dito, your young daughter had never feared spiders at first. Okay, so at first, the daughter did not fear spiders. But after seeing you screech and react in fear a few times when a spider appeared in the house, she now cries whenever she sees a spider. Okay, this is an example of letter A, spontaneous recovery, letter B, classical conditioning, letter C, stimulus generalization, or letter D, operant conditioning. No? So fear, phobia. Okay, so your child now has developed a fear for spiders out of or because of watching you, because of observing you, being fearful of those spiders. And the tumpak na choice here is letter B. That's classical conditioning. No? So classical conditioning ito. Whenever you see questions in the LET about phobia, trauma, fear, your answer would always be classical conditioning. No? Conditioning, classical conditioning. Now, spontaneous recovery here and stimulus generalization are just parts of classical conditioning. And of course, letter D, operant conditioning is an entirely different field, no? Sa conditioning, magkasama sila sa behaviorist. Okay, let's take a look at your slide. All right, so this right here is classical conditioning. Of course, the person who made or who has done this experiment was Ivan Pavlov. Okay, so what he did was he had stimuli and responses. Okay, so whenever you say stimuli, this is anything that can elicit a response. Now, anything that can make you react, that's a stimulus. No, or these are stimuli. Now, here he used food as an unconditioned stimulus. When you say unconditioned, hindi mo siya kinondisyon. That means it's a natural stimulus. Natural siyang stimuli, no? Natural siyang stimulus for a dog because it can naturally get a response or a reaction from a dog. And your unconditioned response here would be salivation. The dog would create or would make some saliva, no? So naglalawa yung dog whenever the dog would see food. Okay, so again, this is a natural reaction of your dog, and so you call this unconditioned response. Now, at first, a bell is just a neutral stimulus. Neutral stimulus siya, ibig sabihin walang response yung dog mo. Whenever you ring the bell, whenever Ivan Pavlov would ring the bell, there's no response coming from the dog. But then, what he did was classical conditioning. Pinair niya ang kanyang bell with the unconditioned stimulus. No? So now the bell has become a conditioned stimulus. Pinaris niya sa unconditioned stimulus yung bell, making the bell now a conditioned stimulus. And so what happens is that naglaway na din yung dog. No? So whenever the dog would see the food, of course, maglalaway yung dog. Eventually, the dog was able to associate the ringing of the bell with the food. So now, kahit na iring lamang ni Pavlov yung bell, naglalaway na yung aso, no? Because it is anticipating that there's going to be food. Kasi nga pinaris niya yung food sa bell, which was at first a neutral stimulus. Okay, so that's classical conditioning theory. Now, I have mentioned that whenever you find questions in the LET about phobia, trauma, fear, it would always be classical conditioning. That's always going to be your answer. Common question in the LET would be, as a child, you had a bad experience at the dentist office. Now, as an adult, you still fear going to the dentist's clinic. Okay, what theory is indicated in this example? Your answer would be classical conditioning. Okay, so lahat ng phobia, trauma, fear, those are all going to be about classical conditioning. Now, yung choices natin kanina, yung A mo at C, okay, so again, as I mentioned, A and C are part of classical conditioning. You have spontaneous recovery and you have stimulus generalization. Now, when you say spontaneous recovery naman, this is when a person has already lost that reaction, no? Na wala na yung reaction ng person na yon. For example, hindi na siya takot sa aso. Dati takot siya sa aso, ngayon wala na siyang takot sa aso. But eventually, for example, if there's a situation na hinabol siya ulit ng isang aso, nagka-spontaneous recovery siya, no? Bumalik yung kanyang phobia, bumalik yung kanyang trauma. Okay, so that's spontaneous recovery. Spontaneous recovery yung tawag natin dyan. Okay, so ang inyo namang generalization, stimulus generalization mo naman, still based on classical conditioning, it is the opposite of discrimination. Pag sinabi mong discrimination, for example, meron kang phobia sa aso, pag sinabi mong discrimination, alam mo kung kailan ka lamang matatakot sa aso. Pag ang aso ay nasa loob ng kanyang kulungan, for example, or yung aso ay nakatali, hindi ka takot. Okay? Pero pag ang aso ay freely roaming, then natatakot ka. That's discrimination. You know how to discriminate situations. But when you say stimulus generalization, sa lahat ng klase ng aso, nakatali man, nasa kulungan man, freely roaming man, very cute man na aso, takot ka, no? So generalized yung fear mo. That's stimulus generalization, which was our choice C. Okay, now choice D mo naman was operant conditioning. This was by B.F. Skinner, no? By Burroughs Frederick Skinner, at yung kanya namang idea was, yung pinaka-focus ng kanyang theory was reward and punishment. Okay, so you have to introduce reward to increase behavior. If you want your child, for example, to do better in school, every time the child makes a perfect score, you should reward the child para ulit-ulitin niya yung behavior. And you should introduce punishment to decrease a behavior. No? So for example, mababa yung nakuha niyang grado sa math test niya, ipapunish mo siya, kukunin mo yung kanyang cellphone or kukunin mo yung kanyang iPad or i-ground mo siya, no? Grounded yung anak mo. You are going to introduce punishment so that the person is going to decrease the behavior para hindi na siya umulit na mababa yung grade niya. You introduce punishment. Okay, so reward, punishment, that would be operant conditioning. When you see terms such as reward and punishment in the left, that would be operant conditioning. Along with operant conditioning, no, na kay B.F. Skinner din. So again, you have reward, punishment. Kasama din yung reinforcement kay B.F. Skinner. Kasama din yung feedback. No? So it's very important that you give them feedback. Alin dito yung mali mo, alin yung hindi mo nagawa ng tama, alin yung mga tama. And kasama din sa kanya yung computer-aided instruction. Okay? So yung limang yan kay B.F. Skinner. Reward, punishment, reinforcement, you have feedback, and computer-aided instruction. Okay? But for number 2, we were looking for classical conditioning, and that's letter B. Okay? So letter B for number 2. We go to number 3. The concept of self-efficacy was introduced by letter A, Carl Rogers, letter B, Albert Bandura, letter C, Sigmund Freud, or letter D, Howard Gardner. Okay, who's your choice? For number 3. Okay, number 3 na po tayo. What is your choice? Or who is your choice? Okay, samot-sari yung ating sagot. B-A-D for number 3. Okay, alin kaya yung tumpak for number 3? Let's find out. Okay, again, please do share this video. Paki-share po ng ating video, paki-like and love ng ating video, no? You can also send us stars while watching us live on Facebook. And you can also send us your super chat, super stickers on YouTube. Okay, so then again, if you'd want to become a member of Team PSA, just send a message to our Facebook page later. Okay, so the concept of self-efficacy was introduced by Carl Rogers, letter B, Albert Bandura, letter C, Sigmund Freud, or letter D, Howard Gardner. And ang tumpak na choice dito is letter B, that's Albert Bandura. Okay, so this was by Albert Bandura. And when you say self-efficacy, this is a person's belief that they can be successful when carrying out a particular task. Okay, so when carrying out a particular task, yung belief mo sa sarili mo, no, yung belief mo na kaya ko to self, no? Magti-take ka ng LEP. Self-efficacy is when you believe that you are ready to take the LEP. When you believe that you can pass the LEP, no? This is your belief that you can be successful when carrying out a particular task. Okay, so that's Albert Bandura. Now, you all know who Albert Bandura is, no? So, siya din yung nagbigay sa atin ng social learning theory, learning through observation and imitation. Okay, so these are some very important factors for him that can develop or that can influence self-efficacy. Yung unang-una is performance experience. Depende sa naging past experience mo. Minsan, pag maraming beses ka nang nag-fail, minsan iniisip mo na ma-fail ka ulit, no? Meron ka ng phobia, meron ka ng trauma. Okay, so it depends on your past experiences. Vicarious experience, these are the experiences that you get by observing other people, no, from modeling by others. Nakita mo na nang sinolve ng nanay mo or nang sinolve ng math teacher mo yung math problem, napakadali lang, no? Okay, ganun pala. That's the next step and that's the last step, for example. And so from that, you can learn, no? So that's vicarious experience. Social persuasion, it's very important that you are coached and that you receive feedback. So napaka-importante yung may mga nagtuturo sa atin, may mga nagfa-follow up sa ating bahay. You teach your students or you teach your kids at home. And of course, there's feedback. Okay, dito ka nagkamali. You forgot this part right here. Okay, that's social persuasion. Imaginal experience. You can visualize your future success, no? So para siyang manifesting something. You have to visualize. I visualize myself or I visualize my name with LPT at the end. Okay, so imaginal. You imagine that experience. And the last one would be physical and emotional states. These are experiences of physical and emotional sensation. So, kung depende sa anong naranasan mo physically at kung anong mga emosyon mo na iyong naramdaman, no? So, maaaring naging happy ka when you were successful at a certain task, and so you'd want to do it again, no? So that's self-efficacy. Again, this was by Albert Bandura. Now, for the rest of our choices, Carl Rogers was letter A. He was the co-founder of humanistic psychology with Abraham Maslow, and his main contribution was person-centered psychology. Okay, so sabi ni Carl Rogers, if a person is gaining or trying to seek psychological or a psychologist advice, dapat yung sentro ng ginagawa ng psychologist would be the person. Dapat hindi siya minamandoan, no? Hindi nagmamando yung person or yung psychology mo kung anong po pwede or kung anong dapat gawin ng kanyang kliyente. Dapat yung kliyente yung pinapakinggan at dapat yung kliyente yung sentro, dapat yung kliyente yung pinapadecide sa kanyang sarili, no? So that's person-centered psychology by Carl Rogers. And of course, Sigmund Freud, si Lolo Sigmund Freud, famous din yan. So unang-una, meron siyang oral, anal, phallic, latency, and genital stages and psychosexual stage of development. So sabi ni Freud dito, ni Lolo Freud mo, sa kada stage ng bata, merong parte ng katawan, he called this erogenous zones, no? May parte ng katawan na nagbibigay sa kanya ng satisfaction. So while you are from 0 to 2 years old, that part of your body that gives you satisfaction, that gives you happiness, would be your mouth, no? So oral yung tawag natin dyan. Infant achieves gratification through oral activities. So feeding, thumb sucking, nagbababble yung anak mo, anything that he gets or he grasps, he would put inside his mouth. And so napaka-importante that while your child is very young, wala dapat maliliit na mga bagay na po pwede nang lunukin at po pwede makakos ng choking, no, sa anak mo. Kasi oral satisfaction pa meron sila, ginagawa nila oral satisfaction. Now, the second stage here is anal. The child learns to respond to some of the demands of society. This time, from 2 to 3 years old, dapat tino-toilet train mo na yung bata. No? So satisfaction nila would be in their anal region. Phallic stage from 3 to 7 years old, the child learns to realize the differences between males and females and becomes aware of his or her sexuality. So here, the child is exploring. This is a time when you'd see your child playing with his toy, no, or playing with her ning-ning. Okay, so they are exploring. Huwag mong sabihin na manyakis tong batang ito. Ay, nakita ko yung anak mo. Inahawakan niya yung toy-toy niya, manyakis, manamana sa tatay, no? So you don't say that because that is just the natural stages of development of the child, no? So the child is trying to explore. Ine-explore niya yung kanyang katawan, the different parts of the body, and we call this phallic, no? Phallic, of course, is phallus from ari nga, no? So that's the term for ari. So here also included sa inyong phallic stage yung tinatawag nating Electra complex and Oedipus complex, no? So yung Oedipus complex mo, the son is getting the attention of the mom at nakikipag-compete siya sa kanyang tatay. Yung Electra naman is the opposite, sa daughters naman ito, no? So kinukuha niya yung atensyon ng tatay at nakikipag-compete siya sa kanyang nanay, no? That's Electra complex. So under sila ng phallic stage. Now, during latency, the next stage from 7 to 11 years old, ito yung pinaka-boring na part, sabi ni Sigmund Freud, kasi sabi niya, walang erogenous zone yung bata, no? Walang sexual activities masyado yung bata dito because the child is very busy with schoolwork, no? So school age kasi siya, very busy siya with schoolwork, and so we call this latency, no? Dormant yung kanyang sexual activities. And the last stage here is genital, from 11 years old to adulthood. The growing adolescent shakes off old dependencies and learns to deal maturely with the opposite sex. Katulad siya ng phallic, no? So the child is exploring sexuality, pero yung pagkakaiba lang sa phallic, he or she is using himself or herself. Sa genital naman, meron na siyang partner. It might be someone from the opposite sex or maybe sa mga members ng ating LGBTQA+, no, members ng the same sex po pwede. Okay? So genital at phallic, yung pagkakaiba lamang is that in the genital stage, the child or the person is exploring sexuality using another person, with another person. So meron na siyang partner. Now here, so that you can easily remember this, oral, anal, phallic, latency, genital. Usually the mnemonics that I would use would be owls, always, play, late, games. Okay, owls always play late games. So these are the different stages in the psychosexual development theory of Sigmund Freud. Now, aside from this, nagbigay din si Sigmund Freud ng 3 things, no, that would influence our personality, that would influence our actions. And these 3 things, 3 concepts, are the id, the ego, and the superego. Now, anong pagkakaiba ng id, ego, and superego mo? Yung id mo is your animalistic side, no? So instincts, your libido, your sexual tendencies, your hunger, thirst, those that you cannot control, these are all under the id, no? Sabi ng id dito, I need to eat right this second. Wala siyang pakialam, no? Wala siyang pakialam. The person here does not think about social norms or what other people would tell him or her. Basta gusto niya, kung anong gusto niyang gawin na niya ngayon na. Okay? Now, the superego is the opposite. Ito naman yung moralistic side. Okay? So sabi ng superego, you can't do that because you're in the middle of an important meeting. Okay? So ito yung mga madring side mo, paring side mo, konsensya mo, no? So superego. And the ego is the balance between the two. This is your idea of yourself. No? Yung ego mo is the balance between the two, the id and the superego. Okay? So galing din ito kay Freud. And the last choice that we had there was letter D. No? So letter D natin was Howard Gardner. And of course, he has given us the multiple intelligences theory. So according to Howard Gardner, hindi lamang isa yung form ng intelligence, hindi lamang verbal. Because before, no, verbal lamang yung sinasabi nilang intelligence. Whenever someone can speak really well, people would think that that person is very smart. But now we know that there are different types of intelligences according to Howard Gardner. There's linguistic, yan nga yung verbal natin. There's visual spatial, people who excel in shapes, designs, graphics. There's musical, people who can perform and compose musical pieces. Interpersonal and intrapersonal, basically these are opposites, no? So intrapersonal is self-smart. You know what yourself is or who yourself is. You know how to introspect. You'd always examine yourself, no? So these are philosophers, clergy, your priest, your nuns. Interpersonal, on the other hand, is people smart. You have the ability to organize people. You are very sociable. And then you have logical. You excel in math and logic. Kinesthetic, you love performing sports, you love physical activities, and you also have naturalistic. Ito yung mga plantito-plantita natin. Okay, so those people who have green thumbs, those people who love animals, who love plants, who love nature. And there's a ninth form of intelligence, existential or existential intelligence. Ito naman yung mga tao na palaging nagtatanong about our existence. Why am I here? Why do I exist? What is my existence for? Okay, so these are the different intelligences according to Howard Gardner. But then again, our answer was Bandura, Albert Bandura. Okay, number 4. Using the principle of scaffolding involves which of the following? Letter A, providing clues in order to guide the students through problem solving. Letter B, grouping two students of the same cognitive level together in order to solve a problem. Letter C, providing the answers to all homework questions in advance of the assignment. Or letter D, allowing the student to use trial and error methods in order to solve a problem. Okay, so which one is your choice? Maraming salamat, Ma'am Junalyn Sarcauga, okay, for sending us your super sticker. Maraming salamat po. Okay, again, please do like and share this video. Paki-like po and paki-share ng ating video. We are at number 4. Sa ating mga first-timers, maraming salamat po. Balik-balik po kayo. And welcome. Okay, what's your answer for number 4? Okay, ano po yung ating sagot for question number 4? Again, kung medyo hindi po nakikisama yung inyong signal, no, po pwede nyo pong balikan. Especially if you are a member of Team Piaget, hindi naman po nawawala yung video sa inyong group. And of course, yung PowerPoint presentation po natin, you don't need to copy anything because the PowerPoint presentation is going to be posted after our live stream. Okay, so again, that's the advantage of being a member of Team Piaget. Okay, I see A's and D's. Which one kaya yung tumpak? No? Alin kaya yung tumpak dito? Okay. Using the principle of scaffolding involves which of the following? You remember scaffolding a while ago, no? So sabi natin, pag scaffolding, the term scaffolding refers to anything you have extended to a child so that the child can be helped. Remember si Vygotsky, siya din yung nagbigay sa atin ng ZPD, Zone of Proximal Development. Ito yung zone na hindi nare-reach ng estudyante kapag wala kang scaffold, no? Kapag walang help, hindi siya kayang ma-achieve ng student. Okay, so again, scaffolding is anything that you have extended so that the child is helped, so that the child is going to improve his or her performance. Okay, so letter A, providing clues in order to guide a student through problem solving. Letter B, grouping two students of the same cognitive level together in order to solve a problem. Letter C, providing the answers to all homework questions in advance of the assignment. Or letter D, allowing the student to use trial and error methods in order to solve a problem. And the correct choice here is letter A. Okay, so you provide clues. The clues there would be the hint, would be the help that you are extending the student. No? So siya yung pinaka-hint mo, siya yung pinaka-clue mo, siya yung pinaka-tip mo. Okay, so that's your scaffold. Binigyan mo siya ng clue. Okay, look at this. How would you solve this? Read the question again, what you understand about the question, which are given, okay? What are we looking for? So you provide clues. Kahit dito, no, whenever we discuss our different items, we'd also be looking for clues na tinuturuan ko din kayo. Paano nyo makita yung clues, your hints in your question, okay? So letter B is wrong here kasi sabi niya, the same cognitive level sila, no? So wala naman silang help. Maaring naging scaffold siya if you did peer tutoring. Okay, kung ang isa sa kanila ay advanced student tapos hini-help niya yung another student. Providing the answers, you don't help the student here, no? Pino-provide mo, binibigay mo yung lahat ng answers. Allowing the student to use trial and error, wala ka namang help na ginawa dito. Sinabi mo lang, okay, you can use trial and error. And you left the student to do it on his own or on her own. Okay, so there was no help extended. Okay, your choice here would be letter A. Okay, so again, if you'd want to become a member, mag-send lamang po na message later sa ating Facebook page. All right, number 5, in order to help students remember better, a teacher should link blank information to blank information. Is it letter A, animal to mineral, letter B, concrete to abstract, letter C, old to new, or letter D, none are correct? Sir Rashdi Jimlani, good evening, Mamek. From the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. Sobra-sobra po yung impact nyo during my LET board exam. Halos lahat po ng tips and advices nyo na-apply ko sa last January 30, 2022 and now I'm LPT. Secondary, it's highly recommended po yung page na to. Maraming salamat, Sir Rashdi, and of course, congratulations. Okay, so napaka-importante that you are listening to our discussion and napaka-importante that you know where the tips are, how to analyze the questions, no? Kaya inihimay-himay natin yung question. Kasi usually, yung choices mo sa LET are all very plausible, no? Parang iniisip mo, ito yung answer. Ay, teka, pwede din naman yung B. Hindi, pwede din naman yung D, no? So, isang hint lamang can guide you and can help you get the correct choice. Okay, so ito yung tinuturo natin dito. Hindi po tayo nagpapamemorize ng answer. We try to help you gain the test-taking skills. No? So, test-taking skills siya. Paano makikita yung mga hints? Paano malalaman kung ano yung tips or clues sa ating question? Okay, I see a lot of C's. Tumpak kaya yung letter C. In order to help students remember better, a teacher should link blank information to blank information. Okay, and so the correct choice here would be letter C. No, so old information, the old experience of the child with the new information and the new topic on hand. Okay, so letter C is the tumpak na choice, not animal, mineral, none are correct. Letter D, concrete and abstract. Pwede nyo gamitin na concrete and abstract, but here we are looking for information. So information. And usually we'd use old information and link that with new information. Okay, so this is a constructivist approach whenever you are teaching your students. Dapat nakaka-relate sila sa topic. Dapat na-apply nila yung topic sa kanilang everyday life. And so you have to link what they have experienced, what information they already know to the new topic that you have. Okay, so old and new is tumpa. Okay, pagligwak, move on ka agad, no? Move on lang. All right, number 6. Which of the following best describes the theory of constructivism? I have mentioned this a while ago. Letter A, people construct knowledge when they are not influenced by anyone else. Letter B, people construct knowledge through their experiences and interaction with the world. Letter C, people construct knowledge by using their reason rather than their senses. Or letter D, none of the answers are correct. Okay, what's your choice for number 6? Ano kaya yung ating choice for question number 6? This is constructivism, constructivist approach. Okay, if you can remember your isms, we have a separate video for isms, no? So, balikan nyo po lahat-lahat ng ating videos. Marami pong videos dyan sa ating YouTube channel. So again, balikan nyo pong lahat, okay? Especially if you have free time, not especially if you will be taking the LET this March. Okay, what's your choice? I see letter B's. Okay, Sir John Paul Salvosa, congratulations. Thank you po, Coach Mac. Salamat po sa Gurong Pinoy. LPT na po ako ngayon. Nag-take po ako ng LET last January 30. Okay, so again, isa si Sir John sa ating mga thousands of passers, no? Thousands of passers in January. Okay, letter B. Tumpak kaya yung letter B. Which of the following best describes the theory of constructivism? You all know what constructivism is. Sabi ng constructivism, you don't give the definition of a word to the child. Rather, you give the child different experiences and different experiences and interactions so that the child would come up or would be able to come up with her own meaning of that word. Okay, and so the correct choice here is letter B. Tumpak yung letter B. People construct knowledge through their experiences and interactions with the world. Okay, so that's how you make your own meaning. That's how you construct your own definition of a word. No? Dapat in-expose ka sa iba't ibang experiences, iba't ibang interactions. Kaya as a parent, no, hindi din po pwede na yung child mo, yung anak mo ay very pampered. Yung child mo ay hindi nakasalamuhan, yung iba't ibang klase ng tao. Dapat nagkaka-experience din yung child mo because that of course would make your child smarter, no? So dapat turuan mo din yung child mo how to mingle with different types of people, how to have different types of experiences. Okay? So, people construct knowledge when they are not influenced. Meron ding influence po sa constructivism because that person, your influencers are those people who are going to give you the different experiences. Okay? People construct knowledge by using their senses. Okay? So, sense experience yung sinasabi ng constructivism. And so, letter B is tumpak. Number 7. Carlos needs to develop a website for his computer technology class. What level of Bloom's taxonomy is demonstrated by this assignment? Is it letter A, creating or synthesis? Letter B, analyzing or analysis? Letter C, understanding or comprehension? Or letter D, remembering or knowledge? Okay, what's your answer for number 7? All right, number 7, letter A kaya ang tumpak na choice. Number 7, I see a lot of letter A's. Okay, so again, sabi dito, si Carlos, kailangan niya mag-develop ng website for his computer technology class. So what level of Bloom's taxonomy is being asked here? The correct choice, of course, is letter A. No? So this is creating or synthesis. You are creating something new. It's not analysis, understanding, or remembering. Now remember, this is the revised version of Bloom's taxonomy. No? So ito na yung ating revised version. The lowest would be remember, when you can only recognize and recall facts, identify, name, list. Ito lamang yung nagagawa mo sa remember. Understand is when you completely understand the facts and what they mean. So you can explain, you can paraphrase, you can use your own words. Apply is applying the facts, rules, and concepts, whatever you've learned inside the classroom, you can put it, you can use it in a similar situation. Now, analysis is when you break down the whole into its different parts. Now, so hinihimay-himay mo. Okay, so that's analysis. And evaluate is to judge the value of something. You can debate, you can criticize, no? So you can evaluate. You know the value of something. And the highest in Bloom's taxonomy, the revised version now, is create. No? So this was synthesis before. You can combine parts to make a new whole. Napaka-importante po yung term na new dito, na dapat bago yung ginawa mo, hindi lamang imitation ng something that's already in existence. Okay, so you combine the different parts to create something new that would be creation or create. No? So that's the highest in the revised version of Bloom's taxonomy, and that was letter A. At yan po yung ating tumpak na choice. Okay, number 8. What is the mean of this score distribution? 5, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Is it letter A, 10.2, letter B, 7, letter C, 9.4, or letter D, 12? Tumpak ganun. Okay, what do you think is the correct choice for number 8? What is the mean of the score distribution? 5, 9, 10, 11, 12. I see C's in our comment. Tumpak kaya ang letter C. Okay, so again, we are looking for the mean of this score distribution. And the tumpak na choice here is letter C, that's 9.4. Now remember, these are the different measures of central, no? Central tendency. Now, the mean is simply the average. So for you to get the mean, what you do is you simply add all these numbers here. So 5 plus 9 plus 10 plus 11 plus 12 divided by the list of items and the number of items that you have. So in this case, that's divided by 5 and you get 9.4. So again, your mean is just the average. Your median is the middlemost score. No? So yung pinakagitnang score, that's the median. And the mode is the most frequently appearing score. Now, meron po tayong separate video on this. So balikan nyo po yan sa ating YouTube channel. No? There's so many videos that we have. Okay? So again, sa ating YouTube channel, meron tayong video on professional education. Meron tayong curriculum development. Meron tayong the pillars of learning. Okay, there's 25 separate videos for ProfEd. Meron tayong 173 videos for Gen Ed and ProfEd live streams. No? So kung hindi nyo pa po yan nakikita, ay balikan nyo po yung lahat. No? 173 videos sa Gen Ed and ProfEd alone. Meron tayong separate videos for 50 videos for science. No? So yung science po, maraming lumalabas sa inyong Gen Ed. Lalong-lalo na pag ikaw ay elementary, no? Elementary level, marami po sa Gen Ed ninyo, science items. Ganon din sa secondary. Lumalabas din no, yung science. Now, there's 3 separate videos for assessment of learning. This is what I was talking about. So, mean, median, mode. There's assessment of, for, and as learning. And merong quiz po for assessment of, for, and as learning. And of course, there's also 71 separate videos for our Let Gen Ed. So, again, balikan nyo po yung lahat. Balikan lahat yung ating mga videos, lalo na pag wala po kayong ginagawa. Okay, number 9, according to Piaget, children in the pre-operational stage have difficulty taking the perspective of another person. They are demonstrating assimilation, egocentrism, conservation, or accommodation. Okay, what's your choice for number 9? All right, question number 9 na po tayo. What is